Describe just what I'm leaving behind. And now the voice inside is telling me it'll be just fine. Road never ends. Beat myself up again.
Hey, this is Garrett Smithley, driving the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with
Freedom Train.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy Wednesday to you all. Welcome to round 3 of the Season 3 Wednesday Warrior Series with All Pro Racing. I'm your commentator Sean Zulu once again, and I am accompanied by my multitasking co-commentator and cameraman Dave Everett. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. Sean, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing good too, thank you. And Dave, tonight we're racing here at Atlanta with these trucks. Are you ready to see some great green flag runs and some good battling?
Yeah, I'm always ready. These guys put on a good show, so it should be a fun time here at Atlanta.
Oh, copy that. Well, Dave, tell us about tonight's race, please.
Tonight it's at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's a 1.5 mile track. It is 82 degrees with a track temperature of 90 degrees under partly cloudy conditions with the wind northeast at 7 miles an hour.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, tonight these guys are going to be going for 100 laps, and they do have a 40% fuel limit. That's 40%. So they will have to pit at least once in order to be able to make it all the way. And these drivers as well have 2 quick repairs or 2 extra trucks. So if they do get wrecked out, they have 2 more chances at getting back out there to stay competitive. And also, Dave, right in front of me, I have the season standings. And currently in the lead is the 88 of Michael Jeans with 91 points. The 74 of Wesley Whitfield right behind him with 74 points, which is only 17 points behind him. In third place, we have in third place, we have 2 drivers tied. We have the 18 of Team B Cox and the 14 of Jeff T. Martin, tied for third place with 70 points, which is only 4 points behind the 74 of Wesley Whitfield, who's in second place. That 71 of Bobby Everhart is going to have 66 points in fourth place, which is only 4 points behind the 14 of Martin and the 18 of Team B Cox. And also, the 004 of Michael Johnson is going to be rounding up the top 5 drivers in the season standings with 64 points, which is only 2 points behind that 71 of Bobby Everhart, who's in 4th place. And last week's winners from Las Vegas with the B cars, we had Mitchell Reeves. He brought it home, the 02 of Mitchell Reeves. The 88 of Michael Jeans came out in 2nd place. And the 14 of Jeff T. Martin came out in 3rd place. And all these drivers, all the top 3 finishers from last week, are all from the same team, Southeast Motorsports. And Dave, currently we do have these guys qualifying, so let's try and focus on one of those trucks out there just to see how they get around this track. And as we qualify, we do also want to thank our sponsors. We have All Pro Broadcasting, we have GW Design Graphics, we have AJ Junior Autos, and Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. I want to thank our sponsors because without you guys, this would not be possible. And Dave, at the moment, I'm watching that 74 of Wesley Whitfield, the driver who had the fastest practice time with a 29.151. Let's actually focus on Wesley and see if he's going to be able to get the pole this time as well. Looks like he rode high all the way throughout the backstretch into the turns. He went all the way to the bottom. He's going to try and let it drift out of the turn to try and scrub the tires as less as possible. He goes back to the bottom lane. He cuts across the track, goes back high to turn 1. He goes back to the bottom lane. Just going to try and hug that white line. He's going to push up, exiting turn number 2 to the wall. He stays high throughout the back straightaway into turn 3. It looks like he's going to try and go down a little bit late. He's going to hug that white line once again. He's going to let it roll out of turn number 4. And he's going to come for his checkered flag to qualifying. And David, looks like that put him in 2nd place behind the 18 of Team B Cox, who had a 29. Actually, Team B Cox has now been bumped down to 2nd place, bumping the 74 of Wesley Whitfield from 2nd place to 3rd place with a 29.250. And taking over that pole position is the 51 of Dustin Lee with a 29.217. And Dave, tonight these guys are running open setups for a change this season. Do you think these guys are going to have to take a lot of tires throughout the entire race tonight, Dave?
It just depends on how hard they push there, Sean, and which line they're running. If they're going to be running down next to that white line, they're going to scrub their tires a lot quicker compared to running the outside line, which will help save them just a little bit of tire wear.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. We have noticed that the O2 of Mitchell Reeves is one of those drivers who loves to run that high sideline, like last week at Las Vegas. He was running the high side to try and save those tires. And also the 88 of Michael Jeans as well. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing those guys run that high side a lot tonight. And also the 74 of Wesley Whitfield was running that high side throughout qualifying into the turns. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we have a $5 payout to the post hitter of qualifying, courtesy of O-Pro. And it looks like that's going to be the O2 of Mitchell Reeves, who just took over that lead away from the 51 of Dustin Lee with a 29.194. And it looks like about 30 seconds remaining until these guys start gridding up. And Dave, like you had pointed out, we do have a 90 degree Fahrenheit track temp. Do you think these guys are going to have to lift a lot tonight, or do you think they're going to be going wide open for a couple of laps?
They should be able to go wide open for a couple of laps. Then they're going to have to start backing up the corners and make sure that they don't slide up into the wall on the exit of these turns.
Oh, absolutely. These guys have to really pay attention to in the turns. And Dave, it looks like qualifying has now ended, so we are about to start gridding up here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give these guys a few seconds to grid up so that when we go over the grid, you can see their paints. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have the O2 of Mitchell Reeves on the pole, occupying the bottom lane. And on to his right is going to be a 51 of Dustin Lee, who does not seem to have gridded up just yet. We have the 18 of Team B Cox in third place, right behind that O2 of Mitchell Reeves. The 74 of Wesley Whitfield is going to be starting behind 51 of Dustin Lee on the outside line. The 24 of Everett Lane is going to be in fifth place, which is third place behind that 18 of Team B Cox on the inside line. The 77 of Jack Watts in 6th place, side by side of the 24 of Everett Lane. We have the 88 of Michael Jeans, our current season leader. We have him in 7th place on the bottom lane behind the 24 of Everett Lane. And to his right, it's going to be the 66 of Edward Bray, starting in 8th place, right behind the 77 of Jack Watts, his teammate. The 71 of Bobby Everhart as well, their teammate, starting in 9th place on the bottom lane behind the 88 of Michael Jeans. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin occupying his right, or the right of the 71 of Everhart. The outside line behind the 66 of Edward Bray, starting in 10th place, running up the top 10 so far. The 33 of Vernon Margheim starting in 11th place. The 10 of Danny Rudy is going to be starting in 12th. The 72 of Ivan Garcia in 13th place. The 97 of Jeremy Funk in 14th place. The 3 of Mark Jackson, sorry, not Michael Jackson, but Mark Jackson, starting in 15th, right up the top 15. And we have the last truck qualifying tonight. It's going to be the 83 of Stephen McGaw, starting in 16th. To the drivers who have not qualified, the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer, starting in 17th. The 78 of Donald Stewart in 18th place. The 62 of Michael D'Amico, starting in 19th. 004 of Michael Johnson, starting in 20th. And 91 of Joe Guy, starting in 21st place. 85 of William LEC in 22nd place. And that 6 of Chris Hogue, starting in 23rd place. And Dave, tonight we only have 23 trucks running tonight. And it looks like Dustin Lee is still on pit road as we speak, so by the looks of it, he did end up missing that start, unfortunately. These guys are now entering turn number 3 behind the pace car, 65 miles an hour pace speed. Bunching them up ever closer, ready to go green this time by for the first time tonight. The Pacers coming out of 4 as we speak. The pace car's off. The green flag flies. The 02 of Reeves puts it down, but that 18 of Tim B. Cox beats him to it. So there's the 24 of Everett Lane. That 74 of Wesley Whitfield caught sleeping on the outside line, now getting freight trained by the bottom lane, trying to catch a break. The 77 of Jack Watts is going to go to his aid and try and bump draft him. We have the 88 of Michael Jeans trying to overtake the 74 of Wesley Whitfield side by side with him throughout the backstretch, this time entering turn 3.
Looks like these guys here are trying to run that lower lane here, as these guys are finally up to speed here as they are now coming through the dog leg into turn number 1.
And that 77 of Jack Watts is going to be overtaking the 74 of Wesley Whitfield as we do have a caution. Looks like the 3 of Mark Jackson was involved, so was the 72 of Ivan Garcia, and also the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer, and also the 78 of Donald Stewart. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin sent sideways. Looks like that was pretty much, and also the 71 of Bobby Everhart, unfortunately.
We're going to go here to the GW Graphics All-Pro replay. We're going to follow the 3 of Mark Jackson to see if we can see exactly what happened. Looks like it happened in front of him, and the 3 of Mark Jackson just got tagged as a bunch of cars went spinning, but he was able to keep it straight. As looks like he's only got minimal damage to his truck.
And Dave, the drivers who had the worst of that were the 71 of Everhart and the 14 of Martin, as both drivers got together up front entering turn number 1, and that pretty much caused a chain reaction behind them. And going up front, we have the 02 of Mitchell Reeves leading this thing, and behind him is the 18 of Team B Cox. The 24 of Everett Lane is now in 3rd place. Behind him is the 88 of Michael Jeans. The 77 of Jack Watts sneaking into 5th place after qualifying in 6th, right behind the 88 of Jeans. And it looks like we do have a few drivers on pit road. That's going to include the 004 of Michael Johnson. We have the 71 of Bobby Everhart, the 72 of Ivan Garcia, the 3 of Mark Jackson, the 83 of Stephen McGaw, the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer seems to be towing, unfortunately. The 91 of Joe Guy as well as the 85 of William LEC.
Also, to see the 51 of Dustin Lee has made his way off pit road, but he is going to be 1 lap down here. So it definitely looks like Sean, he missed the start of the race, but has made it out. So now he's got his workout cut in front of him, trying to get back on the lead lap and then fight through traffic to get back to the front.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. He is going to have to. The good thing is that he's the only truck a lap down out there, so he won't have to fight too hard because he is guaranteed to get a lucky dog the next caution. And by the looks of it, Michelle, the 60 of Michael D'Amico is not running, unfortunately. Looks like we are going to have one more pace lap as these guys are still going 65 miles an hour behind the pace car. It does seem as though some drivers are starting to save some gas.
Well, most of these drivers here are only 5 laps into on their tires here, so they're just trying to save fuel as much as they can to try to go a little extra here if this thing is to go into green flag pit stops.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. These guys do try their best to try and stretch it, because the more they stretch it, most likely the more time they will gain. At the same time, if they stretch it too much, compared to those drivers who decide to pit in early or sooner, they will start running them down and losing time to them, because they most likely will have newer tires. Looks like the 78 of Donald Stewart is now running in 17th place. And behind him is the 72 of Ivan Garcia, who seems to have some rear end damage on the machine. Looks like we are now 1 to green, as these guys are now starting to bunch them up. Double file, 65 miles an hour. As the L2 of Mitchell Reeves is leading the bottom lane. And behind him is the 24 of Everett Lane in 3rd place. 2nd place in the bottom lane. To his right is the 88 of Michael Jeans. Behind the 18 of Team B Cox, who's going to be the leader of the high side line.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how this restart's going to go, Sean, here, as these front guys here on little older tires, but I don't think they're going to have much of a problem here as far as spinning their tires, but it'll be interesting to see how the 18 of Tim Cox can compare to the 02 of Reeves here on the restart.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. As you can see, the outside line has been getting freight trained on these restarts, or the first one at least, so let's keep an eye on that 18 and see what happens.
The pace car's off. The 02 keeps them at pace speed as they come through the dog leg. As the 24 of Everett Lane gets right on his tail, but off goes the 02. But so does the 18 of Cox as he makes a good run and gets back door to door. But it looks like the 24 of Everett Lane is going to be able to get to the inside there as the 88 of Michael Jeans jumps down and leaves the 18 hanging.
88 of Michael Jeans is going to be side by side of the 18 of Team B Cox on the backstretch, entering turn number 3 as 18 is still going to lead the outside line, occupy it on his own, getting no help whatsoever and losing positions left and right. Looks like he does have he catches a break and has the bottom lane open to him, and he is going to take advantage of it by getting behind the 88 of Jeans. The 02 of Mitchell Reeves up front. Actually, the 24 of Everett Lane seems to be trying to challenge the 02 of Mitchell Reeves, who's just pretty much controlling the bottom lane and riding the bottom lane throughout the entire track, trying to defend that line because he does see the threat the 24 of Everett Lane is putting on him.
Yeah, the 24 of Everett Lane is definitely right all over that back bumper, filling up his rearview mirror. So he's got to watch, but Everett Lane is just matching him move for move here and sticking right there. But you also got the 88 of Michael Jeans here, who's looking to the outside of Everett Lane, but is not able to complete the pass.
And behind the 88 of Michael Jeans, Dave, that 18 of Team B Cox finally caught up to him and using that draft of his on the backstretch. And most likely these drivers would make that outside line work if they decided to push each other, because I'm sure that at this point they're still going wide open.
Yeah, most definitely these guys are, as they are up to speed here, as we are now lap 10 of 100 with 91 laps remaining. These guys also got to be wary of saving some tires here, as I'm pretty sure the tire wear is going to be pretty significant as they go on.
And Dave, that 14 of Jeff T. Martin trying to make some moves as he is charging to the front, now side by side with the 33 of Vernon Margheim after overtaking the 97 of Jeremy Funk, who's now on his inside again. They're still going to be side by side, exiting turn number 2 as the 14 of Martin gets a bigger and better run on this 97 and gets around him, also challenging the 33 of Vernon Margheim. They are going to be side by side, entering turn number 3 as the 14 of Jeff T. Martin did the crossover move to the 33 of Vernon Margheim and is not going to overtake him successfully, exiting turn 4.
Yeah, it's going to open the door for a lot of cars there behind Martin, as they're all getting to the inside of Vernon Margheim and is able to pass him as they are. He is dropping to the back of the field in a hurry.
And that 14 of Jeff T. Martin is about to pounce on the 66 of Edward Bray, as he is catching him slowly but surely. He is in his draft range, so he will pull him in. Going a little further back with a side-by-side battle going on with the 51 of Dustin Lee, also trying to make some moves. Overtook the 33 of Vernon Markheim, as Vernon Markheim is about to lose another position. 74 of Wesley Whitfield. '51 of Dustin Lee making some moves on the 78 of Donald Stewart, and is now going to be behind the 71 of Edward Bray, who's pushing, the 71 of Bobby Everhart, who's pushing the 97 of Jeremy Funk. '51 of Dustin looking to the high side of the 71 of Bobby Everhart to try and challenge him, as he is trying to do that Q line to try and get an advantage. He's going to be side by side with him entering turn number 3, but exiting turn 4. Looks like the 71 of Everhart does have a better run since he had a better race line.
Yeah, the 71 is already a lap down, but he is working his way through the field here, trying to get back on the lead lap. As he is putting down some good lap times here and battling these guys as he's making moves high and low.
And there, that 51 of Dustin Lee chops the nose off of the 71 of Everhart exiting turn 2, and that was almost ugly. That was very, very close racing, but that was some great driving by both drivers, keeping it steady. And it looks like the 3 of Mark Jackson is going to be getting lapped by these drivers here. He's going to go a lap down. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin currently being shown in 6th place behind the 77 of Jack Watts. Looks like he is in his draft range, and he is catching him slowly but surely. As it looks like the 77 of Jack Watts is struggling to keep up with the draft of the 18 of Team B Cox, who's in the first pack.
Yeah, most definitely here at Atlanta, the draft is pretty important here, so they got to be able to make sure they use that draft to help catches. The caution is going to fly.
We have a truck spinning heavily after hitting the wall. That's the 9 of Joe Guy.
We're going to go back here to the GW Graphics instant replay here following the 91 of Joel Guy. See if we can see exactly what sent him spinning or into the wall here. Looks like he just got a little loose, touched that apron, came up, got sideways, spun around into that outside wall, and then the 3 of Mark Jackson had nowhere to go but to make contact and send him over on his side. Highly unfortunate, but luckily only one other truck was involved.
And Joe Guy trying to get to pit road as we speak, as he has some bad rear end damage and also some right side damage on the machine after getting T-boned. Unfortunately, we just lost 2 drivers. The 33 of Vernon Markheim retiring for the night, and so did the 6 of Chris Hogue. And Dave going down to pit road. We have the 02 of Mitchell Reeves leading these guys down pit road. Looks like Everett Lane, the 24, the 88 of Michael Jeans, the 18 of Team B Cox, the 77 of Jack Watts, all followed him.
Yeah, it looks like they're all going to take 4 tires and fuel here as the 02 of Mitchell Reeves is going to get off pit road first.
We had a battle for the pit exit by the 77 of Jack Watts and the 14 of Jeff T. Martin. And it looks like Jack Watts was able to beat him by a nose hair. Looks like we had some drivers stay out as well. The 87 of Raymond Rittenauer being shown in 20th place, a lap down. The 004 of Michael Johnson being shown in 7th place on the lead lap. The 3 of Mark Jackson being shown in 19th place, a lap down as well. So it looks like the 3 of Mark Jackson and the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer are both going to be getting a wave around here once we go on to green.
Also, our lucky recipient of the lucky dog here, this caution is going to be that 51 of Dustin Lee, putting him back on the lead lap.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to try and get a race interview here with the O2 of Mitchell Reeves, who's currently in the race lead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the O2 of Mitchell Reeves here with us. You got a copy, Mitchell?
Yeah, we got you, Sean.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
Gonna be pretty good. We're just excited this race is going on. I think it's gonna be a fun-filled race.
Oh, absolutely, Mitchell. Hey, Mitchell, you have been able to lead most of these laps, and you do seem to have the 24 of Everett Lane right on your bumper throughout, and it did seem as though he was a threat to you. Is that changing the way you're racing, or just pretty much racing your own lines?
Well, I think at the start of the runs, I have a protective line going on. I mean, with these trucks, they don't have as much horsepower as the Gen 6s, so basically it's a 20-lap run on fuel, and you're about able to run full throttle about 12 to 15 laps of that run. But the tires do come off a little bit, and I think that was kind of what you were seeing there with me and Everett there at the end. Is I was really driving it hard, and I was having some issues getting tied off exit. But these restarts are going to be a lot of fun to watch for the viewers, just because everybody's got new stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun just watching everybody full throttle. But I think Everett's a little bit faster than me, but we're going to try to hold him off as best as we can and as clean as we can, and hope for the best. It'll be interesting to see what happens if we have a long run for sure.
Oh, absolutely, Mitchell. And Mitchell, you did mention that you are running the defense line, and we did actually notice that. Are you running around on the bottom lane, hugging that white line throughout, trying to make sure the 24 didn't get any chance to peak there? Do you think that's affecting your tire wear negatively and affecting your run?
Oh, definitely. I think the lower you enter a corner, the more it's going to take a toll on the tires. But something that I love to do the most is the crossover, and I know that Everett can do it too. So I'm just trying to prevent the crossover this early, and if I get in second, hopefully I can get in position to do the crossover myself. But running the defensive line, there's goods and bads to it, but you gotta do what you gotta do to keep the lead.
Oh, copy that, Mitchell. Well, Mitchell, looks like you guys are now entering turn number 3. We're ready to go green here right behind the pace car, so we are gonna let you get back to the driver's seat, and good luck to you, buddy. We will keep an eye on you.
Thank you, Sean.
Pace car is going to bring them out of turn 4 here as these guys are bunched up. The pace car dips into pit road. The O2 of Mitchell Reeves keeps them bunched up. The green flag flies. The 24 of Everett Lane gets a good boost on the outside, and the O2 of Mitchell Reeves there is going to be a little slow, but he's going to make up time here coming into turn number 1 as he's going to get door to door with the 24 of Everett Lane.
And right behind Mitchell Reeves on the bottom lane is that 18 of Team B Cox, trying to use him to get past the 24 of Everett Lane, who's going to be getting Freight Train on the outside line, as the 14 of Jeff T. Martin as well is featuring his name on the bottom lane right behind that 18 of Team B Cox. And Jack Watts as well is not too far back, 4th place on the bottom lane, trying to challenge that 24 once he gets to him. The 74 of Wesley Whitfield is back in the mix here behind the 77 of Jack Watts to try and push him up the 14 of Jeff T. Martin. The 24 of Everett Lane side by side of the 14 of Jeff T. Martin for position here, as both these drivers are not backing down, as the 14 of Jeff T. Martin has nowhere to go, as he had a huge run exit in turn 4 but had to lift because he did have a truck in front of him. The 24 of Everett Lane finally catching a break and falling in behind the 14 of Jeff T. Martin, and is going to be in 4th place.
That's a good job there by the 14 of Jeff Martin, who qualified in 10th position and has made his way up into 3rd place here, as he is now battling trying to get around the 18 of Cox to be able to get up there and try to battle our race leader, the O2 of Mitchell Reeves.
And Dave, they are coming up to a lap car. It's going to be the 91 of Joe Guy, being shown the last truck on the lead lap, but he will go a lap down this time by.
Going a little further back here, it looks like the 51 of Dustin Lee has been making up waves through the field here, as he got the lucky dog and started at the end of the line, but has made his way all the way up into 11th position.
He is right behind the 97 of Jeremy Funk and is going to make the crossover move on him, as they're going to be side by side here. But we do have some wrecking exiting turn number 2. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin gets a big piece of that one, and so does the 18 of Cox as well.
We're going to go back here, focus on the 14 of Jeff T. Martin here in our replay, see if we can see exactly what happened here, as they were battling it out there between the 14 and the 18 of Cox. Looks like coming out of turn number 2 here, the 14 of Jeff T. Martin there gets to the inside of 18 of Cox. Cox didn't realize that, came down, made contact with him, and sent them both spinning. But it does look like everybody else was able to get around them. But that 14 machine and the 18 both have heavy damage.
Absolutely, Dave. That was that was not good for those two drivers. Both great drivers, and had a little bit of miscommunication between the two of them. It looks like we do have the leaders going down pit road. The 02 of Mitchell Reeves is going to be going down to lead everybody else behind him, but looks like not everybody followed him, Dave.
No, it looks like the 24 of Everett Lane and the 77 of Jack Watts, the 66 of Edward Bray, the 71 of Bobby Everhart, and the 83 of Stephen McGough have all stayed out.
And that 91 of Joe Guy getting the lucky dog this time by gonna be the last truck on the lead lap in 19th place. That was some great driving by him. He does have some heavy damage on the truck all around, and I hope he does have a reset.
Now, Sean, here looking at our race analysis, we've had 3 cautions, but we've only had 3 lead changes here tonight. So as we got 73 laps to go, I'm sure that number of lead changes is definitely going to be changing.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. We still have a long way to go. We are just past a quarter of the way through the race, and these guys are not even halfway yet. And we do have, we should expect to see some green flag pit stops. And once those green flag pit stops kick in, we are going to see a lot of lead changes, Dave, because these guys do have different pit strategies, and most drivers like to stay out. And the more drivers who stay out, the more lead changes we have. That 3 of Mark Jackson gonna be going down pit road this time by on his own. Looks like he has some trucks behind him following him down pit road. That's gonna be the 97 of Jeremy Funk, and that's the 91 of Joe Guy who just got the lucky dog.
Also looks like the 14 of Jeff T. Martin is gonna make his way down pit road there, probably to get some more damage repaired, as he is back on pit road.
And Dave, that 20 of Michael Johnson has been charging throughout. He started in 20th place with no qualifying time, and he is now in 6th place behind the 83 of Stephen McGaw.
Yeah, we've got some great drivers here tonight, so we're going to see a lot of trucks moving from the back of the field toward the front, as we've definitely seen. We've seen some of the front leaders make their way to the back of the field here, as it is... looks like our previous race leader, the 02 of Mitchell Reeves, is going to shuffle back, starting in 7th position this round.
And we just might be coming to 1 degree this time by here, crossing the start finish line on lap number 30, as the 24 of Everett Lane is going to lead them down. We are now 1 to green, Dave. These guys now bunching them up, double foul entering turn 1. The 24 of Everett Lane is going to be leading the bottom lane in the entire race. And behind him is going to be the 66 of Edward Bray. To his right, leading the outside line, is going to be the 77 of Jack Watts, with his teammate behind him, the 71 of Bobby Everhart.
Yeah, but here from previous restarts, it definitely doesn't look like the outside line is the place to be. As it seems that the inside line gets the better run, is able to pass that outside line in a hurry.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And it was also the case last week at Las Vegas. And we did notice that those teammates up front used to help each other. When they started side by side, they would let each other in so they didn't end up falling too far back. And that's what it's most likely going to take here is teamwork.
Pace car is going to bring them here through 3 and 4 as these guys start bunching up and tightening the field.
So we exit turn 4 this time by the pace car's off. The green flag flies at 24. Everett Lane puts it down, catches 77 of Jack Watts off guard. 71 of Bobby Everhart to the rescue. The 77 of Jack Watts to try and give him a bomb truck, but he's going to back off as the 02 of Mitchell Reeves is going to cross over to the inside line, right behind the 66 of Edward Bray. 77 of Jack Watts losing a position to the 66 of Edward Bray, his teammate, and also the 02 of Mitchell Reeves, side by side with him. This time by throughout the backstretch, entering turn 3, and he's going to look to his inside, entering turn 3, trying to overtake the 66 of Edward Bray. He does make that pass successfully on the 66 of Edward Bray and also the 77 of Jack Watts, and is now hunting down the 24 of Everett Lane.
Also look there behind the 02 of Mitchell Reeves is the 88 of Michael Jeans, who's another fast driver, as he is trying to follow him up and get up here to battle the 24 of Everett Lane.
And Dave, the 24 of Everett Lane just might be at a disadvantage because he did decide not to pit in while the 02 of Mitchell Reeves pitted in and took some tires.
Yeah, as it definitely looks like the 02 of Mitchell Reeves and the 88 of Michael Jeans, who both pitted here, are definitely making some moves quick, and they are catching him in a hurry.
We do have the 71 of Bobby Everhart and the 87 of Raymond Rittenau battling side by side as Raymond drifts way high and tops that wall, exiting turn number 4, actually into turn number 3, and is going to lose a lot of positions as he did lose a lot of speed. Raymond Rittenau, heavy damage on that right front of his as they take him 3 wide to get around him. We do have the 14 of Jeff T. Martin side by side of the 72 of Ivan Garcia. After overtaking the 18 of Team B, Costa is going to follow him to the outside. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin making a move in the 97 of Jeremy Funk, this time by to try and get around him in the tri-oval. But it looks like he does not have enough. He actually has enough. He does occupy his right side of his outside line. The 97 of Jeremy Funk is coming out to the huge run exiting turn 2, putting the 14 of Martin right behind him.
Looks like the 14 of Martin is going to look to the inside there of Jeremy Funk this time, as he is going to get down next to that white line and make a pass around him cleanly.
And Jeremy Funk is now getting ever closer, Dave, on the 14 of Jeff T. Martin as he tried to do that crossover move but did not seem to have enough. And Dave, their best bet right now is to just try and bump drop each other on the straightaways to try and catch up the trucks in front of them.
Yeah, most definitely here is that front pack. It looks like it's starting to spread out here as the 24 of Everett Lane and the 02 of Mitchell Reeves is starting to put a little gap there between them and the 88 of Michael Jeans.
Everett Lane, Dave, had some trouble exiting turn number 4 and was in the grass and is losing positions left and right this time, trying to get back up to speed.
That's going to shake up our field a little bit, Sean. That's going to put the 02 of Mitchell Reeves in the race lead, followed by the 77 of Jack Watts in second, and the 88 of Michael Jeans in third place. The 74 Wesley Whitfield will be in fourth, and the 51 of Dustin Lee, who we saw go 1 lap down, that'll move him up into the top 5.
And that's the end of Donald Stewart trying to challenge the 71 of Bobby Everhart, and he's going to try and cross him over as they try and both overtake the 66 of Edward Bray exiting turn 4. They're going to be side by side crossing the start-finish line as the 78 is going to take it away from the 66 of Edward Bray. Contact is made between the two of the 66 of Edward Bray. Is going to get loose and almost loses it, but they were able to save it. 78 of Edward Bray, 78 of Donald Stewart. So it goes sideways after touching that apron and tops the 18 of Team B Cox. The 97 of Jeremy Funk gets into him. Big wreck exiting turn 2.
As we go back here, look at the GW Graphics instant replay following the 78 of Donald Stewart. It just looks like he got down on that apron and it just kind of got him loose there as he was trying to come back on the track, and that definitely sent him out in front of traffic there. As the initial contact was between the 78 of Stewart and the 66 of Bray, but Donald got it down and almost saved it, but coming out of turn number 2, got onto that apron and just got that truck sent around up into the 18 of Tim B. Cox, and then also it looked like the 97 also was involved there, the 24 of Everett Lane, also the 85 of William LEC was also involved in that.
That was really unfortunate for these drivers, Dave, but good thing they do have at least one more reset for those drivers who are involved in almost every single wreck. But if they don't, that's going to be a bad night for them. And David does seem as though these drivers are not going down pit road this time by, as the 0-2 of Reeves is going to lead them down again. Looks like the 18 of Team B Cox is going to decide to stay out this time. He does have some heavy damage around that truck of his, the 18 machine. But it looks like he's just trying to stay out there, trying to get that bonus point, and he will go down pit road to get that reset.
Well, coming off pit road, it's going to be Mitchell Reeves leading, followed by the 88 of Michael Jeans, and then the 51 of Dustin Lee, as they all come off of pit road after taking 4 tires and fuel.
And it looks like both the 88 of Jeans and that 02 of Mitchell Reeves are now saving some gas as they are clutching it in, trying to catch up to the 004 of Michael Johnson, who's behind the pace car, or behind the 18 of Team B Cox. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get a race interview in with the 18 of Team B Cox. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 18 of Tim B. Cox himself here, currently in the race lead. Got a copy, Tim?
Yeah, I got you guys.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
Not too good. Keep getting sent to the back. Keep getting wrecked, but I'm gonna have to go to the back here again. I just stayed out just to lead a lap there.
Oh, copy that, and I'm sorry to hear about that, Tim. You have we have noticed that you've been getting collected in a few incidents that have not even been your fault. You got tagged by a spinning truck exiting turn number 2 there, who had lost control, and you end up getting collected into it. But tell us so far, how's the race going besides the wrecking?
I guess besides that, it's pretty good so far. The truck's really good on a long run, if we can get one.
10-4, Tim. And Tim, you are sponsoring this race, or the whole entire series, with AJ Junior Autos. Tell us about your company again, please.
Yeah, AJ Junior Auto Sales is a small used car lot out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We carry anything from 2010 all the way up to 2017 cars. We get anybody financed. 99% of the people who walk through our door walk out with a brand new car.
Oh, copy that, Tim. And Tim, do you guys have a website that we can look you guys up at?
Absolutely, it is ajjuniorauto.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's ajjuniorauto.com, so check it out. Well, Tim, looks like you guys are now going 1 to green this time by, so we are going to let you go. And hopefully you do have a reset to fix that truck.
Yeah, we got one. I'm going to try and save it, though.
Copy that, buddy. Well, good luck to you, and see you towards the end of the race.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 18 of Team B Cox, currently being shown in 8th place, but went further back due to him trying to gets some damage fixed after leading that lap, or those laps. And he does seem to have all that damage that he sustained from that wreck as we speak. And Dave, that is definitely going to slow him down because it is not pretty.
Yeah, most definitely. As he's catching the field here, as the field is entering turn number 4 here, ready to go back to green flag racing. That pace car is going to dip off as these guys bring them here to the green flag as they come through the oval. Here comes the green flag, and it looks like the 88 of Michael Jeans gets caught sleeping as the 02 of Mitchell Reeves gets a good push. However, the 51 of Dustin Lee gives a good bump draft to the 88 of Michael Jeans, who is going to get door-to-door with the 02 of Mitchell Reeves.
And looking at the current results at the moment, Dave, we do have the top 5. The top 4, the 4 guys in the top 5 are actually teammates, namely the 02 of Reeves, the 88 of Jeans, the 51 of Dustin Lee, and the 14 of Jeff T. Martin. As the odd man out is that 77 of Jack Watts. He is getting side by side with his teammate as well, the 71 of Bobby Everhart, this time by, as the teammates up front are now battling. We have the 88 of Michael Jean side by side with the 51 of Dustin Lee and the 02 of Mitchell Reeves as they are trying to get around him. And the 51 of Dustin Lee jumps the outside line to try and give the draft help to the 88 of Jeans.
Well, Sean, there in the back of the camera, it looks like the 97 got a little loose there of Jeremy Funk and got into the wall, but he has got his truck moving again here, but he has got heavy damage, but we are going to remain green flag racing.
And that was really unfortunate for the 97 of Jeremy Funk, who is being shown 2 laps down in 18th place. And going back up front, David, 88 of Michael Jeans was able to lose a lot of positions and is now getting in behind the 14 of Jeff T. Martin, his teammates. So far we have the top 4 are all teammates, but just like Mitchell Reeves had talked about last week, or I believe it was Jeff T. Martin, even though they're teammates, they won't lift for each other.
Yeah, even though they're teammates, they all want to get that big win and get that checkered flag. So as we get closer to that checkered flag, these guys are going to make moves and try to definitely overtake one another here, trying to come away with the win.
And there we do have the 77 of Jack Watts trying to draft the 71 of Bobby Everhart, and it's not going to be side by side with the 74 of Wesley Whitfield, who seemed to have a huge run exiting 4, but seems to now be dying off entering turn 1. The 77 of Jack Watts is trying to run that defensive line against that 74 of Wesley Whitfield to try and defend his position, but he is still right behind the 71 of Bobby Everhart.
Yeah, these guys need to work together or they're going to be in risk of losing that draft of the front 4 here. As it looks like the 74 Wesley Whitfield is going to look to the outside of Jack Watts, but just not have enough speed to be able to make the pass.
And Dave going a little bit further back in the pack, that 10 of Danny Rudy currently being shown in 10th place, just got overtaken by the 3 of Mark Jackson, who almost made contact with, almost putting him in the wall. But that was a great save by him, realizing that there was a truck beside him. He did manage to get around him cleanly. Also going a little bit further up front, Dave with 74 of Wesley Whitfield occupying the outside on the 77 of Jack Watts to try and challenge him here, entering turn number 1. The 74 of Wesley Whitfield still going strong, huge run exiting turn 4, using the draft of the 71 of Bobby Everhart. As the 77 of Jack Watts is still running that bottom lane to try and defend it. He is doing a great job there. He is making sure the 74 of Wesley does not get around him, but the 74 of Wesley does have a bigger run exiting turn number 4. Let's see who's going to get the position. Looks like the 74 of Wesley Whitfield was able to take the position away from the 77 of Jack Watts by a nose hair.
Well, Sean, as we are now halfway to go through the race here, we are going to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
Thanks, race fans, for watching All Pro Broadcasting tonight. At Domino's TYJ Racing, Season 1 has been a great success, with Justin Faulkner earning the Gen 6 Cup Car Championship, while Curtis Young brought home the trophy for the Denton Fenders Truck Championship. For 2017, we are expanding to include our new Top Shelf Series. If you're a serious, clean, competitive racer looking for a league with serious, dedicated, respectful drivers who follow simple, strict rules with no favoritism, then apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for a personal invite to one of our broadcasted live tryout races starting Thursday, December 1st on All Pro Broadcasting. The few open seats in our 3 series will be filled soon. So apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com and we will see you on the track.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of the Wednesday Warrior Round 3 race here in Season 3 here at Atlanta with the trucks. We do have a caution. So on the caution there, it involved the 88 of Michael Jeans, the 02 of Mitchell Reeves, the 14 of Jeff T. Martin, also the 51 of Dustin Lee, who unfortunately got loose exiting turn 4. His back end just snapped around and everyone else behind him got collected. Currently it is still going to show the 88 of Michael Jeans in the race lead, and he is going to lead some drivers down pit road. We have the 85 of William LEC staying out. He's being shown in 19th place, 15 laps down. And unfortunately, we've lost a few more drivers tonight. The 97 of Jeremy Funk, the 18 of Team B Cox, and also the 10 of Danny Rudy. The 88 of Michael Jeans leads them off pit road again, and behind him is going to be the 004 of Michael Johnson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to try and get a race interview in with the 004 of Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson, this is Sean. You got a copy, bud?
10-4.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Doing good too, thank you. Well, Michael, we've noticed that you've been having such a good race, pretty much keeping a low profile as usual. You really feature your name when it really actually counts towards the end of the race. And so far, we noticed that after the caution, the first caution, you decided to stay out there and try and lead a lap. And after that, you went ahead and pitted in. Tell us about your race so far.
I was really conserving fuel, conserving tires, and doing pretty good at it. And that last big wreck, the backstretch, I did get involved in it. And I tried to fix my damage. I was way off pace, so I just pulled my second truck off the truck.
Oh, copy that, Mike. I'm sorry to hear about you getting involved in there, and I'm glad to hear that you did have some extra trucks remaining out there and you were able to use one of them. And do you have a pit strategy so far, Michael, or you just pretty much going to go with the flow as usual?
I'm going to go with flow right now. Right now, it's down to fuel mileage here. We're going to have 39, 40 laps left of green flag racing. It's going to be down. If we go green from here on out, it's going to be down to managing your fuel and tires. So it's going to be very conservative here on this next run.
10-4, Mike. And Mike, if we do go green the rest of the way, do you see yourself in the finishing in the top 3 or the top 5 tonight?
24. With this setup, I get very good fuel mileage with this setup, so I think I got a good top 5 car here if I can keep the damage off of it from here on out.
Oh, copy. That's good to hear. Well, Michael, we are going to wish you the best of luck. That's all we can do. And we are going to keep an eye on throughout the entire race. You guys are now 1-2 green. So good luck to you, buddy, and make us proud.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for your time for announcing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the 004 of Michael Johnson, currently being shown in 9th place behind the 51 of Dasili on this restart. And we are now 1-2 green. As up front, we do have the 88 of Michael Jeans leading the bottom lane, behind the 78 of Donald Stewart, and leading the outside is the 3 of Mark Jackson, followed by the 77 of Jack Watts assisting him. And so far we have about 4 drives in the top 5 from KMA.
Pace car is going to bring them out of turn number 4 here as these guys keep pace speed as the pace car dips off. The 88 of Michael James brings him into the dogleg, jumps on the throttle, but the 78 of Donald Stewart is nowhere to give him a hand. But the 88 of Michael James is going to pull out to a good lead as the 77 of Jack Watts is all over the back bumper of the 3 of Mark Jackson.
The 78 of Donald Stewart taking advantage of that throw of Mark Jackson as well. As the 77 of Jack Watts falls back a little bit on the inside line. To his left is the 51 of Dustin, the 71 of Bobby Everhart, and the 02 of Mitchell Reeves as well, trying to take advantage of him. This is the 83 of Stephen McGough with a little bit of rear end damage on that truck of his. Is still in the keeping momentum, keeping the pace with the 77 of Jack Watts, or at least trying to.
Yeah, Sean, it looks like that previous accident while we were commercial has put the 02 of Mitchell Reeves down 2 laps. So he is fighting to get back his laps here to try to get back on the lead lap.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And now, speaking of laps, there's the 24 of Everett Lane as well. It's going to be a lap down in 13th place, and he will be the first truck a lap down. So we have some trouble up front exiting turn number 4. We have some cars making contact. The 3 of Mark Jackson hurt into the wall. The 24 of Everett Lane is going to get involved, and so is the 77 of Jack Watts. The 02 of Mitchell Reeves once again gets involved and is on his lid this time by. Looks like 77 of Jack Watts actually made it through that. I'm sorry.
As we go back here, look at the GW Graphics All-Pro Broadcasting replay here. We're going to focus on the 3 of Mark Jackson here to see exactly what happened and see the carnage that followed. As it looks like he was riding right next to the wall here, coming into turn number 3. He's running that high line. Looks like there was some contact made between him and the 02 of Mitchell Reeves, and that just started a chain reaction as the 24 of Everett Lane hits him, sends him flipping around into the 02 and puts the 02 of Mitchell Reeves on his roof. Highly unfortunate there.
Highly unfortunate indeed, Dave. It is going to put the 02 of Mitchell Reeves 3 laps down from 2 laps down. He was aiming to get some laps back, but that is going to be a very, very big disadvantage for him, as he is on pit road as we speak as well.
That's going to be unfortunate for the 24 of Everett Lane, as he was involved in that accident. He is not going to be getting the lucky dog this time around.
And Dave, speaking of Everett Lane, he is on the apron this time by doing about 10 miles an hour and decreasing, trying to go down to pit road. He has no motor. He ended up blowing his engine, so he is just praying that he makes it there.
We're going to focus here on Everett Lane, see if he can make his way down pit road, but I'm not sure they're ever, or Sean, I don't think he's going to be able to make it to his pit stall, as he is probably less than 5 mile an hour at the moment.
And David, doesn't make it any easier that he qualified in 5th place tonight, so his pit stall is way up there, and his speed is decreasing, just like you had pointed out, because right now he's almost hitting 5.
Yeah, it's highly unfortunate. That's just that he was not able to make it, so he is going to have to tow there from pit road.
And Dave, we are going to try and get another interview here under this caution with the 88 of Michael Jeans, our current race leader. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 88 of Michael Jeans in the booth with us, just like every other week. Got a copy, Mike?
Hey, I was wondering if I was going to get to talk to you tonight.
No surprise there. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Well, my little old teammates and me we're having a pretty rough go of it here. I don't know what it is, but it's I don't know. It's tough.
Oh, I hear you, Mike. And Mike, we did notice through that wreck, you were able to kind of squeeze through in between the wreck when it was happening, and while you were squeezing through, you did seem to make some contact with the O2 of Mitchell Reeves, who was spinning uncontrollably. I'm not sure if that was the O2 of Mitchell Reeves, but you made some contact with one of the drivers. Do you feel it affecting you at all throughout the run?
Well, I think I got pretty good. Netcode actually worked on my side that time. I didn't get a 0x or anything when I saw that I went through him, so I didn't get any damage off of that deal. So that's one time Netcode worked for me.
Oh, copy that. And by the looks of it, the closest teammate from Southeast Motorsports, one of your teammates, is the 51 of Dustin Lee, who's currently on the outside line. It's going to be starting on the outside line behind the 78 of Donald Stewart. And Mike, tonight, do you think you have a chance at bringing it home?
Well, I feel like my stiffest competition is going to be Dustin Lee. So, these other guys, they're all pretty fast for the first 10 laps, and then, we start pulling away from them, easing away from them. The bad part is that we're only getting 15, 18 lap runs. When we really start gaining on them and pulling out is when we have a caution. So, we got one more pit stop to go, and there's been, unfortunately, quite a few wrecks. Hopefully everybody's going to screw their heads up straight and pull their seatbelts tight, and we're going to get this thing to the end.
Oh, absolutely, Michael. And Michael, I do know that you and the 51 of Dustin Lee are teammates, just like we had pointed out. But what do you think is going to be your best advantage at putting him at a disadvantage? Pretty much, what are you going to do to try and beat him?
Well, it's being in front, clean air here. It's hard to pass, so just be in front, hold my line, watch the inside, and just try to be smooth.
Oh, copy that, Mike. Well, we are going to keep an eye on you as usual, and good luck to you once again, and see you towards the checkered flag.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming, exiting turn number 4 here to go green as the pace car goes off. 88 of Jean's going to lead this thing. That green flag flies. 88 puts it down, but 71 of Bobby Everhart not too far back behind him. 51 of Dustin Lee on the outside line, right over the back bumper of the 78 of Donald Stewart, entering turn number 1. The 71 of Bobby Everhart getting some help from that 77 of Jack Watts on the inside line to get him up to speed, overtaking that 78 of Donald Stewart and the 51 of Dustin Lee.
Yeah, once again, it looks like it does not pay to be on that outside line there. Even though the 78 of Stewart had the 71 of Dustin Lee pushing, the 51 of Dustin Lee leaves the 78 hanging, jumps down behind the 77 of Jack Watts as they are trying to get past him, as the 71 of Bobby Everhart is working his wheel trying to catch the 88 of Michael Jeans.
And trouble on the track, Dave. That 91 of Joe Guy went sideways exiting turn 4, but fortunately he was able to save it, but he did lose a lot of speed, and he is being shown in 11th place, the last truck on the lead lap.
Unfortunately, there was no caution, so we stayed green flag racing as he is out there by himself as these guys are battling. That's going to put him at risk of going a lap down.
And Dave going back up from that 78 of Donald Stewart, being shown no love whatsoever, being freight trained by pretty much everybody on the inside line. Right now, we have the 74 of Wesley Whitfield challenging him, as that 51 of Dustin Lee jumps up right in front of him to try and assist him, to try and get the outside line going. The 77 of Jack Watts on the inside line, this time by exiting turn 4 side by side with his teammate, the 71 of Bobby Everhart challenging him. But it does seem as though he tapped that apron exiting turn 4, and that slowed him down, keeping the 71 of Bobby Everhart right in front of him again.
Well, why these guys are battling, it's letting the 88 of Michael Jeans pull out to a little gap over him. He's only about 2.5 tenths ahead of him, but he is putting these lap times down. He's running the fastest lap consistently here, lap after lap, so he is just increasing that lead little by little.
And Dave, he does seem to be running his own race line, or something that looks like the Q line, but it might not be quite the Q line, and does seem to be working in his favor, because that way he is actually scrubbing his tires less and having more speed that way as well. 71 of Bobby Everhart is trying to follow him to try and use his draft to try and pull away from the 77 of Jack Watts, who's holding the inside line to try and defend his position from the 51 of Dustin Lee, who's trying to make the outside line work on his own.
Yeah, it looks like the 51 of Dustin Lee's preferring that outside line there to try to save some tires for, must be expecting a long green run flag here, is the 91 of Joel Guy is now being lapped here and going one lap down.
Looks like the 77 of Jack Watts and 51 of Dustin Lee going to take him 3 wide this time by entering turn 3 to get around him. They do take him 3 wide, making it work so far. The 51 of Dustin Lee in the middle lane falls back, tries to fall back behind the 77 of Jack Watts, but then does so successfully actually, and tries to do the crossover move, but the 77 of Jack Watts has that bottom lane occupied and sealed tight. '51 on Dustin Lee to the outside line once again with the help of the 74 of Wesley Whitfield to try and make the outside line work. 71 of Bobby Everhart as well, trying to follow the line of the 88 of Michael Jeans, but he is losing time to him.
Yeah, it looks like that outside line gets a good run on the exit of the turns, but just not enough to propel him around to complete the pass of the inside car.
And David 77 of Jack Watts seems to be doing a great job on the bottom lane to occupy it, but he does seem to be getting a little bit too close to the white line and keeps stepping out. 74 of Wesley Whitfield gets hard into the wall, entering turn 3, and is going to go sideways off the track into turn 3. He is in the grass off the track, off the racing surface, so it is going to stay green.
While that was happening, the 51 of Dustin Lee was able to use that outside line and get around the 77 of Jack Watts, but now he's got his sights on the 71 of Bobby Everhart as he is working to get around him to try to get to that 88 of Michael Jeans.
51 of Dustin Lee side by side with 71 of Bobby Everhart, this time by entering turn 3, occupying the outside line once again. He was able to overtake the 77 of Jack Watts on the outside line, like you had pointed out, and he will try the same move on the 71 of Bobby Everhart, and let's see if it works this time. And Dave, here on the oval side, most of those moves only work once, so we're gonna watch the 71 of Dustin Lee just so we can see if that's true.
As we are riding here in the cockpit view with the 51 of Dustin Lee, we're going to see him working that wheel as he's trying to get around that 71 of Bobby Everhart so that he can begin trying to track down that 88 of Michael Jeans, who has pulled out to 5/10 of a lead over these guys.
And Dave, the more these guys battle, the more the 88 of Michael Jeans smiles, because just like he had pointed out to us, he did say that his biggest opponent or his biggest threat is that 51 of Dustin Lee at the moment. And Dave, Dustin Lee does seem to be struggling a little bit to get around the 71 of Bobby Everhart, but he's not backing down. He does, after he loses some time, he is going back to the 71 of Bobby Everhart, sorry, to his back bumper to get that huge run and tries to make it work again.
Yeah, it looks like that 71 of Bobby Everhart's protecting that bottom line, making Dustin Lee have to use that outside line as he gets a little loose there, coming out of turn number 4, gets the truck sideways, goes down into the grass, down into pit road.
That was very unfortunate for him, Dave, and by the looks of it, he did end up missing that green cone. He did miss pit entrance, so he will get penalized for that.
Well, going back up, that's going to leave the 71 of Bobby Everhart to try to track down that 88 of Michael Jeans, who's pulled out to over a 7/10 of a second lead over him. So these guys are battling as we are now 21 laps remaining.
And Dave, they both lap the 85 of William LEC, putting him 15 laps down and being shown in 14th place. And actually, while we're speaking, I did notice that we lost 2 more drivers, the 3 of Mark Jackson and also the 24 of Everett F. Lane, after the last caution.
Looks like the 51 of Dustin Lee did go down pit road, served his penalty, is now making his way off of pit road, but he is already 1 lap down as it looks like the lead pack is catching him in a hurry, looking to put him down another lap here. The 77 of Jack Watts has came down pit road for a green flag pit stop.
And Michael Johnson is being shown in 4th place, Dave, behind the 91 of Joe Guy, who's currently in 12th place, 2 laps down. They are actually teammates, and Michael Johnson pointed out to us that his setup is really good on gas. So if he plays it right, he will be in the top 5. He was determined.
Well, looking here, it looks like the 88 of Michael Jeans, the 78 of Donald Stewart, the 14 of Jeff Martin have all came down pit road for a pit stop here with 18 laps to go. That is going to hand the lead over to the 71 of Bobby Everhart, putting the 004 of Michael Johnson in 2nd place and the 83 of Stephen McGough in 3rd place. But the 71 of Bobby Everhart and the 83 of Stephen McGough make their way down pit road for some green flag pit stops, handing that lead over to the 004 of Michael Johnson.
And that's 74 of Wesley Whitfield as well, down pit road this time by for a green flag pit stop.
It'll be interesting to see how far that 004 Michael Johnson can push this, as he is currently our race leader.
And Dave, that 88 of Michael Jeans, who just pitted in, is right behind the 004 of Michael Johnson. It's actually showing the 88 of Jeans, the first track a lap down. So once that 004 of Johnson pits in, they will get their laps back. 71 of Joe Guy, actually 71 of Bobby Everhart, sorry, rolling off pit road, this time by on the backstretch into turn 3, as 88 of Michael Jeans gets around him on the outside. 72 of Ivan Garcia, his teammate as well, trying to get around him, but it seems as though he is already up to speed.
Yeah, most definitely here as we are following our current race leader, the 004 of Michael Johnson. He has got about 21 laps on his tires. It'll be interesting to see if this truck can save enough fuel to make it the remainder of the race, as he is the only one on the lead lap due to the green flag pit stops. But he makes a mistake, gets on the apron, and is now running the lower line there as he's coming through turns 3 and 4, and he went into the grass, so he is going to make his way down pit road as we speak.
That was really unfortunate, Dave. He was doing a great job. Unfortunately, that is going to make him lose a lot of time, and that's going to cost him in the long run. The 88 of Michael Jeans up front, gonna overtake the 91 of Joe Guy this time, entering turn 3. Does so successfully, and is most likely gonna be our new race leader this time. He catches the 004 of Michael Johnson on pit road, putting him back behind him. The 77 of Jack Watts being shown currently in 5th place behind the 72 of Ivan Garcia, and the 78 of Donald Stewart as well, who's on the move, trying to catch up to the 88 of Michael Jeans.
Yeah, looking here at my lap times as Michael Jeans crosses the start-finish line here, waiting for everything to reset. It looks like Michael Jeans is going to be the race leader, but he has got a 2.5 second lead over 2nd place, the 78 of Donald Stewart. The 77 of Jack Watts is going to be in 3rd position, followed by the 71 of Bobby Everhart in 4th, and the 83 of Stephen McGough is going to round out your top 5.
And Dave, if the 77 of Jack Watts does end up catching the 78 of Donald Stewart before this race is over, if they do end up hooking up and start bump drafting into the turns and exit, and also the back straightaway or the straightaways through the tri-oval and backstretch, they most likely will catch the 88 of Michael Jeans. But we're coming up to less than 10 laps to go. Actually, 10 laps to go only.
Yes, we are currently on 12 laps to go as Michael Jeans is making his way out of turn 4. He's going to be coming up with making it 11 laps to go. The 78 of Donald Stewart has closed that gap to 2.1 seconds, so he is slowly eating away at that lead of the 88 of Michael Jeans. But the question remains, will it be enough? Does he have enough laps here to be able to catch him and try to compete for the win?
And Dave, that 02 of Mitchell Reeves rolling off pit road as we speak into turn number 1 and 2 on the apron as he gets overtaken by his teammates who are already up to speed. The 14 of Jeff T. Martin and the 51 of Dustin Lee. And Dave, that 14 of Jeff T. Martin suffering from some bad rear end damage and a little bit of right side damage on the right rear. He is actually losing some speed as he got overtaken by his teammate a while back, 51 of Dustin Lee, and is now being approached by some more opponents. The 004 of Michael Johnson and 66 of Edward Bray. The 77 of Jack Watts is now losing a little bit of time to the 78 of Donald Stewart, his teammate, as Donald Stewart is now catching up to the leader, just like you had pointed out, Dave.
Yeah, it looks like the 78 of Donald Stewart has closed that gap now to 1.6 seconds there behind the 88 of Michael Jeans. So I'm not sure if maybe Michael Jeans is just in conservation mode here, as we are now under 10 laps to go with 9 laps remaining.
85 of William LEC gets hard into the wall, entering turn number 1, nearly taking out the 78 of Donald Stewart, who was trying to get around him. But he did get around him, no harm was done. So that was some great driving between those two drivers. And Dave, comparing the 78 of Donald Stewart's lap time, how does it compare to 88 of Jeans? Pit time.
Looking about the pit time there, the last time they pitted, Michael Jeans' pit stop was 10.9 seconds compared to Donald Stewart's of 13.1. But looking at lap times here, it looks like the 78 of Donald Stewart is running about 0.3 of a second faster lap times than that of the 88 of Michael Jeans.
And Dave, at this point, I'm not sure if the 78 of Donald Stewart ended up taking tires, and that's why he was maybe 3 seconds slower on his pit stop compared to that of the 88 of Jeans. So maybe Jeans took no tires at all, or maybe he took 2 tires compared to the 4 that Donald might have taken.
Yeah, as I'm watching now, the 78 of Donald Stewart has closed down under 1 second here, as he's now only 0.8 behind the race leader of Michael Jeans.
Well, Dave, he is actually now leaving his teammate in the dust, the 77 of Jack Watts, who seems to be running 29.4s throughout, while Donald is running 29.2s.
Yes, we're going to focus here as we got 5 laps to go, as we're going to focus on the 88 of Michael Jeans. And as you look on screen at that compare, you can see the 78 of Donald Stewart eating into that lead in a hurry, as he's now got it under 0.5 of a second.
Well, Dave, at this point, I'm sure that the 88 of Michael Jeans is now feeling the pressure, because now he is right on his back bumper. And Dave, let's ride shotgun with that 78 of Donald, so just so we can see how he works. He's going to look to the left side of the 88 of Michael Jeans as Michael Jeans tries to do the defensive line to try and stay ahead of the 78 of Donald Stewart to try and defend his position. Michael Jeans drifts way high, exiting turn 4, slowing down the 78 of Donald Stewart, who had no choice but to let off the gas before ramming into him. We have some trouble on the track ahead of them entering turn number 1. We have 2 trucks off the track. That's one of Bobby Everhart, and also it looks like that was the 91 of Joe Guy.
As we go back to the GW Graphics All-Pro Broadcast replay here, we're going to focus on the 71 of Bobby Everhart to see if we can see exactly what happened here, as it looks like he comes through the dog leg, gets a little loose, goes into the grass, comes back out on the track, and then the 91 of Joel Guy hits the wall, bounces off the wall, and tags the 71 of Bobby Everhart.
Well, Dave, that was very unfortunate for those two drivers, and at this point, all I'm hoping for is that we have at least a one-lap shootout, but by the looks of it, we might not have that. This just might seal the deal.
Yeah, Sean, unfortunately, this late caution here is going to seal the deal and give the race win to the 88 of Michael Jeans, as this race is going to end under caution.
And Dave, that 78 of Donald Stewart was definitely doing such a great job. He did run down the 88 of Michael Jeans from 3 seconds back and ended up catching up to him. Was about to make a move when that caution came out. But he did do a great job of some great effort on him. As that 77 of Jack Watts is now going to be finishing in 3rd place, Dave, after starting in 6th.
Yeah, most definitely is the pace cars now bringing them through the dog leg here. The 88 of Michael Jeans is going to take the white flag. So that is going to froze our field. So it looks like the 88 of Michael Jeans is going to get the win, while the 78 of Donald Stewart is going to come in 2nd. And the 77 of Jack Watts is going to round out your top 3.
And Dave, Michael Johnson, the driver who was on fuel conservation mode throughout the entire race, is going to come out in 4th place, as that 14 of Jeff T. Martin rounds out the drivers in the top 5. That was definitely some great driving on Michael Johnson's part as well, Dave. He did predict that he was going to be in the top 5, and it did end up finishing the top 5 tonight. '71 of Bobby Everhart being shown right behind the 85 of William L.E.C., who is in 14th place, 17 laps down. And the 71 of Bobby Everhart is the first truck a lap down in 9th place. And it looks like the teammates to the 88 of Jeans ended up finishing in 5th place. Jeff T. Martin, the 51 of Dustin Lee in 7th place. And the 02 of Mitchell Reeves, unfortunately, finished in 12th place, a lap down. 88 of Michael Jeans exiting turn 465 miles an hour. Going to bring this thing home without any pressure whatsoever from that 78 of Donald Stewart, who put in a hard fight until the end. Well, Dave, let's ride shotgun to the 88 of Michael Jeans this time by, as he does go around for his victory lap. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We are going to have some post-race interviews with those top 3 finishers tonight. The 88 of Michael Jeans, the 78 of Donald Stewart, and the 77 of Jack Watts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's focus on the 88 of Michael Jeans as he burns that sucker down. Make us proud, Mike. He is making that perfect circle around the start-finish line this time. Well, we are going to start from the bottom this time. The interviews of 77 of Jack Watts, starting in 6th place and finishing in 3rd. Got a copy, Jack?
Yes, sir.
Well, Jack, throughout the entire race, you've been up throughout the top 5. You know, you're challenging these guys. When you started on the outside, you ended up getting freight trained, and when you're on the inside, you were defending your position to the 74 of Wesley Whitfield for the longest time, and other drivers as well. Tell us, how was your experience tonight?
The race was great, but you had to stay on the bottom. It was so hard to pass on the outside. In order to stay in the front, if you had the position, you had to stay on the bottom, or you were just going to get passed.
Oh, absolutely, Jack, and you did prove that to us. And we did notice that you were having some trouble trying to defend your position, because the 74 of Wesley Whitfield was occupying the outside, and he was really strong. But you did do a great job overall. And Jack, tell us about your pit strategy. How was it? Was it successful for the green flag pit stop tonight?
Yeah, I took four tires and fuel to get to the end. I took a full tank and four tires. I was looking at my last run. I had like a 95% wear, so I figured four tires would be the best way to go. It kept me up there about where I was. It got Donald past a little bit, but I didn't really have much for those two at the end. My truck started getting hot because I put a little bit more tape on it to give it a little bit more downforce, a little bit more speed, but that didn't work out for me.
Copy. I'm sorry to hear about that, but at the same time, I'm glad to hear that despite you being at that disadvantage, you were still able to come out in third place. And despite that caution coming out at the end, we're gonna see some great battling. And before we let you go, Jack, any final words or shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to All Pro Broadcasting for doing what they do. We appreciate it. It's a great time here, and my team KMA and my painter Over the Top Paints just appreciate everything everybody does for us.
Copy that, Jack. Well, Jack, I'm glad to see you finishing in the top 3 tonight, and I hope to see that. I hope to see that more often. Well,
Thank you, sir.
I look forward to seeing you again next week at Phoenix with the B Cars, and have a good night, Jack.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 77 of Jack Watts, but right in front of him is the 78 of Donald Stewart, his teammate. Got a copy, Donald?
Yes, sir, Sean. I got you.
Well, first of all, Donald, after this race, before you leave the server, please pass that setup on to Sean Zulu, because he does need it. You did do a great job out there, Donald. You ran down the 88 of Michael Jeans after the pit stops from about 3 seconds back to right on him towards the end of the race without any draft help whatsoever. Tell us what was your secret tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what. Right before the race, I had an anonymous driver come into my garage, and he gave me a setup. And that setup was like out of this world. I don't know if Michael took 2 tires on that last stop or not. I know I took 4. I was hoping he took 2, and I was catching him, and if it wasn't for that yellow flag, I think I might have got the win.
Oh, no doubt, Donald. You did do a great job out there, and we did notice that exiting turn number 4 there, he did end up getting a little bit loose, and you had no choice but to lift. Besides, hitting into the back of him, you decided to lift. And unfortunately, the caution ended up coming out in the next turn, and it had to end on the caution like this. And Donald, how are your green flag pit stops tonight? Do you think you could have done a better job? Because it did seem as though you had a 13-second pit stop compared to that of the 88 of Jeans, who had 10.
Yeah, one time I slid through my pit a little bit, so that was probably where the 13-second one came from.
Oh, copy that. I'm glad to hear that despite you having that little bit of a disadvantage on him on the pit strategy, you were still able to run him down and come out in second place after starting in 18th place with no qualifying time whatsoever. Well, did you have fun tonight, Donald?
Oh yeah, Sean, I had a blast, and I really enjoy racing these guys. They're clean, they're fast, and they're just a great group of guys to race with, and the broadcasting is spectacular. You guys do an awesome job up there, and just keep up the good work. Oh, and I'd also like to congratulate Michael Jeans on his win.
Oh, copy that, Donald. And once again, I congratulate you on your second place finish tonight, gaining 16 positions overall and finishing in second place. Well, before we let you go, well, you already did all the thank yous. Well, we do look forward to seeing you again next week at Phoenix with the B Cars. And do you think you have a chance there as well?
Yeah. Anytime we show up, we have a chance.
That's the spirit. Well, once again, congratulations on your second place finish, and see you again next week at Phoenix, and have a good night.
Thank you, Sean. Good night.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 78 of Donald Stewart, the teammate, the 77 of Jack Watts, who came out in third place. So it looks like we had 3 drivers in the top 5 finish for KMA. And we have the last but not least, once again, the 88 of Michael Jeans, bringing it home again after starting in 7th place. Got a copy again, Mike?
Man, that was way too close.
It was, and you thought your only threat was the 51 of Dustin Lee, and I guess you were proved wrong by that 78 of Donald Stewart. Tell us, how were you feeling when he was right behind you, or when you noticed that he was catching up to you?
Yeah, I tried the strategy, it didn't work out. I think I ran 1 or 2 extra laps, and then I'm trying to run the tank dry, and then, short pitting for the end and only taking 2 tires, it worked. I I think up 3 seconds on them there for a while, but them last 4 or 5 laps, it really picked up a bad push, and it was all I could do. I mean, I know he caught me, but he was still going to have hell getting around me. I wasn't just going to roll over and give it to him, but it ended under caution. I got pretty lucky. I don't think I could have held him off.
10-4, Mike. And I'm glad to hear that, despite you being caught like that, you were still able to finish in first place. Unfortunately, that caution had to come out because we were focused on you, both of you guys, and we were expecting to see you guys battle like that. And tell us about tonight, Mike. What do you think would have been a better experience, or what do you think you could have done better to your truck to give you an advantage on the 78 of Stewart?
Yeah, I think that last pit stop, if I would have gone ahead and taken 4, I would not have, I think I still would have come out in front of him. I would have been right there with him, and with 4 tires, my truck over 20 lap run, I didn't really lose anything. I could pretty much run wide open for 20 laps. So I think I would have been all right with 4 tires, but it just worked out. I got lucky tonight.
Oh, copy that, Mike. Oh, Michael, starting this race, you were in the lead of the points, and by the looks of it, you are still gonna stay in the lead. So I want to congratulate you on that. You were in the lead with 91 points, and those points have gone nothing but higher. And right behind you was a 74 of Wesley Whitfield with 74 points, and unfortunately, he ended up finishing in 10th place, a lap down. So that's gonna penalize him quite a bit. Before I let you go, Mike, any final words or shout out you'd like to give?
Yeah, over the top paints, John Hendrick, he does a lot for me and my team. He does a lot for pretty much everybody on this track with our paint schemes. Michael D'Amico over the All Pro Broadcasting, All Pro Racing. We got a good league here, pretty good group of guys. Everybody gets along, but we still run hard, but everybody still gets along. So, it's fun guys to race with. Sean, you and Dave, y'all do a great job. I like listening, watching the replays back. Y'all do a great job.
We do want to thank you for the kind words, Mike, and congratulate you on your win tonight. And also, next week at Phoenix, and I'm not sure if I should ask this question, but I'll ask it anyways. Do you think you guys have a chance? Because you guys have been finishing in the top 3 and the top 5 pretty much ever since race 1.
Yeah, well, I think they better look out for us. I got a pretty good setup for that one too already, so a good baseline to work off of. I probably need to work a little harder than I did this week on this setup. This is one I already had, which it was really different. This build has changed Atlanta, so the setup is a little different than it was before, but I think we'll be all right.
Oh, copy that, Mike. But once again, I want to congratulate you on your first place finish, getting 6 positions overall throughout the entire night, after starting in 7th place and bringing it home. But once again, congratulations to you, and see you again next week at Phoenix, and have a good night.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 88 of Michael Jeans, the man of the hour, coming from 7th place all the way to 1st place towards the end of the race, after having some great green flag pit stops and having a very powerful opponent behind him, the 78 of Donald Stewart, and also the 77 of Jack Watts, who was ready to pounce if those guys did end up making a mistake. 004 of Michael Johnson, who started in 20th place without any qualifying time, was determined to finish in the top 5, and he did so. The 14 of Dustin Lee, the 14 of Jeff T. Martin, finished in 5th place after qualifying in 10th place. So Dave, it's been a fun race, and once again, thank you for joining me up here in the booth, always doing a great job behind those cameras. And give us a race summary, Dave.
Well, we did have some cautions out here, but we ended up with 8 cautions and 13 lead changes. That last green flag run, though, we saw the power of the 78 of Donald Stewart catching the 88 of Michael Jeans, but unfortunately the yellow flag flew, freezing the field and ending the race under caution. But it was a good job by all these guys. We saw some 2 wide, even a little 3 wide passing, so it was a good job by all.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. It was a fun race. Those green flag pit-stops definitely did spread out the field a lot. And also that 78 of Donald Sweat caught us off guard. We did not see much of him in the entire race, but then he did challenge that 88 of Michael Jeans. And unfortunately, that caution had to come out when it was just getting good. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys for joining us once again. Without you guys, we're nothing. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so you can get notified when we do go live. And we broadcast more than 7 times. We broadcast a lot throughout the entire week, so you guys have unlimited entertainment coming to you guys from different leagues, and also road course racing with Extreme Motorsports on Monday nights. And ladies and gentlemen, next week we are going to be at Phoenix for round 4 of the Wednesday Warrior Series here, season 3, with All Pro Racing. We're going to be racing the B cars like I had mentioned. It's going to be open sets as usual. And as a reminder, $5 goes to the pole sitter of every race in these races. So tonight's pole sitter was the 02 of Mitchell Reed, so he will receive a $5 payment. And there's also a payout at the end of the season to the champion, or the season's leader. He does get a payout at the end of the season as well, so that's really encouraging for these guys. And there is no payment required for these guys for them to join. If you guys are interested in racing, just check out O-Pro on iRacing Leagues, or go to opro.com and you can join from there as well. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to join us for the upcoming series as well. We have KOA with KMA on Friday night. On Saturday night, we have CRA, or the Cyber Racing Association, at Talladega. We have PRL at Charlotte with the B cars. And we have the only road we broadcast, or only road course racing we broadcast, with Extreme Motorsports Rigmatech Sports Car Series at Barber Motorsports Park this coming Monday, and every other Monday as well. Well, every Monday night. They do have 2 class cars. They have the Ford Mustang, the Grand Sport class, and also the ST class, which is the Mazda Miata MX-5. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw tonight, please don't hesitate to hit the like button. If there's something you didn't like, please leave a comment so we can know how to make it better for everyone else as well, because we do try our best to make it better and easier for everybody to understand. I am Sean Zulu, and Dave Everly behind those cameras, also being a second commentator. And have a good night.
Thanks, race fans, for watching All Pro Broadcasting tonight. At Domino's TYJ Racing, Season 1 has been a great success, with Justin Faulkner earning the Gen 6 Cup Car Championship, while Curtis Young brought home the trophy for the Denton Fenders Truck Championship. For 2017, we are expanding to include our new Top Shelf Series. If you're a serious, clean, competitive racer looking for a league with serious, dedicated, respectful drivers who follow simple, strict rules with no favoritism, then apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for a personal invite to one of our broadcasted live tryout races starting Thursday, December 1st on All Pro Broadcasting. The few open seats in our 3 series will be filled soon. So apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com, and we will see you on the track.
Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live coverage coming your way right now on the All Pro Broadcasting Network.
Hey, this is Garrett Smithley, driver the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.